Sometimes a gun is too good in Call of Duty. What is up, everybody? Chaos here. Today we're going to be bringing up the age-old question that we've asked many times. What were the biggest gun nerfs in COD history? Now, for this list, we're going to be looking at guns that require the developers to step in and tone a gun down for the sake of game balance. Just to be clear, we will not be looking at guns that were bugged and then had to be fixed. So you won't be seeing the Modern Warfare 2 Akimbo models on here or the Warzone AS Val because those guns clearly were never supposed to launch in the manner that they did. This is going to be a list of guns that were broken by design and they had to be changed in order to save the game that they were in. So let me know which of these hurt you the most. Drop a like and guys, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have those notifications fully turned on. At number 10, the Titan in Black Ops 4. It was one of the most controversial guns in the game because the power and the versatility of the gun. Despite being an LMG, the handling was actually pretty quick. It was more on the AR side. It carried an insane 3-shot kill range with it, assuming you're using the right attachments, and it was called overpowered by most. I mean, most people who played Black Ops 4 during the first few months would state that. Treyarch really took their time to nerf it, but they did. Eventually, they hit it with a couple nerfs that dramatically toned down the damage and handling, which put it more in line with the rest of the LMGs. Yes, the Titan is still a solid weapon in Black Ops 4. But when the game initially came out, there was really no reason to use it. I mean, the Titan was fast, it was versatile, it killed quicker at close and long range than almost anything else at your disposal, and, there was just no... I said there was no reason to use it. There was no reason to use anything else. I'm sorry. I got them mixed up. Today, it feels more like a standard light machine gun. But the OG version, it's a good way to kick off today's list. At number 9, I love this gun. The Striker in Modern Warfare 3. We hear a lot about spam shotguns in Call of Duty. We hear a lot about it on my channel. Today, we're going to talk about one that maybe people forgot about. It was leagues better than its Modern Warfare 2 counterpart, partially because it was completely overpowered at release. I can confidently say that. When MW3 came out, the Striker could one-shot people from absurd distances since it was a semi-auto shotty with 12 shells in the chamber. Before you put extended mags on it, you can see the issues. Each pellet of the Striker could deal up to 25 damage, and since there were 9 pellets in each shell, this meant you could theoretically deal over 200 damage with each pull of the trigger. Now this was an obvious balancing issue, so eventually a patch, it was pushed out, and it was nerfed. The number of pellets in each shell was dropped from 9 to 6, effectively reducing the damage by 33%. If we're talking raw stats, this is one of the biggest shotgun nerfs in COD history, but nobody seems to talk about it. I mean, I know it was a long time ago. Maybe it's because the nerf happened so quickly, but the Strike nerf, it was a big deal back in the day, and I'm willing to bet some of you remember just how insane this was in the first couple weeks of Modern Warfare 3. At number 8 today, the Cold War AUG in Warzone. When the Cold War weapons were first added to Warzone, there was some problems. Honestly, don't know if some of the guns were tested because about 90% of the Cold War guns, they were useless in Warzone, but the remaining 10%, they were completely busted. One of the most popular picks was the AUG, which was a 3-round burst tactical rifle. Now, the recoil was bouncy and the fire rate wasn't amazing, but there was attachments you could put together to offset these issues. Once you fully kitted your AUG out, you probably realized how broken it was. It could delete fully armored enemies almost immediately from any distance, it felt like, and since you could actually speed up the fire rate with certain attachments, the DPS, it was otherworldly. Eventually, the AUG was nerfed into the ground, and I don't even know when the last time I saw it online was. That's how effectively this gun was hit into the dirt. There was a point where it was one of the most popular guns in the game, and today, it's probably one of the least used guns in all of Warzone. At number 7, the FG-42 in COD World War II. Oh, how the mighty fell. Now, you may not believe this, but there was a time when the FG was a top 5 gun in COD World War II. Now, it's probably not even in the top 20. It was absolutely gutted from the inside by Sledgehammer a few months after release, and to this day, I'm not sure why they went so hard. Unlike the real-world counterpart, the COD World War II FG-42 is a slow-firing but hard-hitting rifle with low recoil. The DPS was decent compared to other full-auto weapons, but the accuracy was good, and the sound effects were pretty beefy. During the first couple professional events, the FG-42 was easily one of the most used guns around, and Sledge apparently wasn't a fan of that, so in December of 2017, they hit it with a massive nerf. They dropped the fire rate roughly 15%, they severely hurt the time to kill, and about 3 weeks later, they reversed course and buffed it again, although it never returned to its original glory. That initial FG-42 nerf was so extreme that it killed the gun's reputation, and even after it was buffed again, nobody bothered. It went from the top 5 to the top bottom overnight. And to this day, I don't really know why Sledge hit it so hard. I mean, if you have to rebuff a gun just 3 weeks after nerfing it, that's probably a sign you went too far. At number 6, The MSBS in COD Ghost. In a recent video, I said that this gun was one of the best burst weapons in COD history, but I was talking about the original version. If you were playing Ghost during the launch period, I'm talking the first 3 days. You remember the problems this thing caused. Maybe it was the first week. People were calling it the COD 4 M16 all over again, and they were right. On launch day, it fired its burst at 900 rounds per minute, could kill in 2 shots. I mean, you could one burst from across the map. Plus, with all the perks and attachments at your disposal in Ghost, you could fine-tune it and break the game even more. IW quickly hit this one hard. Maybe it was a few weeks, I don't know. After the nerfs, though, the MSBS hovered around mid-tier, but it was a huge drop from its original form. The fall from grace was big. The launch MSBS was one of the best weapons in COD history. Nobody who experienced it, I mean, you're not going to argue. At number 5, the Akimbo Diamattis in Warzone. Diamattis just rolls off the tongue. Now, they have caused so many issues in that game since they were added in late 2020. 3-round pistol, when it was added to the Battle Royale and the Cold War update went live, didn't take people any time to realize there was a problem, despite being a pistol. It could be loaded with 30-round magazines. It had a very generous base damage. By dual-wielding the Diamattis with a 30-round mag and laser sights, you could almost immediately delete people, regardless of the armor they were wearing. Plus, since they were pistols, don't worry about slow movement. There was a point in Warzone's history where absolutely everybody was running Akimbo Diamattis because they were beating out shotguns. They were beating out SMGs. I'm not kidding. If you weren't playing Warzone during the initial Cold War update, consider yourself lucky. It was a hot mess. At number 4, the CR56 AMAX in Warzone. Now, I admittedly don't play Warzone as much as I used to, but the community has been heated about this change, and I'm going to echo the popular opinion. The CR56 has always been one of the most popular Modern Warfare rifles in the game. It's comfortably sat at the top of many people's tier lists for almost 2 years. Now, the AMAX has been nerfed a few times, but it still remains a high-tier assault rifle. In May of 2022, Raven Software made the baffling decision to gut the gun. Made it arguably one of the worst rifles in the game. At the time of Season 3's Reloaded update, the CR56 had a base damage rate of 31 to 35. That's standard for a full auto rifle. However, this update dropped the damage all the way from that to 24 to 31, made it dramatically weaker than before, and effectively meaning it was impossible for the gun to keep up with the rest of Warzone's arsenal. That was, I mean, if you want more, the community was even more furious about it when it was revealed that the AMAX had a competitive pick rate of less than 1%, while the STG-44, which was completely untouched by the update, had a pick rate of over 16%. Raven Software really went out of their way to bury the AMAX for no reason. To this day, it's one of the biggest nerfs in Warzone history. Very few weapons in Warzone have ever been hit with this hard of a nerf, and I don't know what the reasoning was. At number 3, the PDW-57, Black Ops 2. If you've been playing Black Ops 2 through Plutonium, which you should be, you probably remembered how bad it was. An SMG featuring a huge magazine, 50 I think at start, but extremely bouncy recoil and P-shooter's damage stats. But what if I told you that when Black Ops 2 came out, this was a top 3 weapon? The OG version of the PDW was laser accurate. The damage wasn't great, but it was good enough, and the huge magazine and the fire rate made up for it. The launch PDW reminded me a lot of the Modern Warfare 3 MP7. Huge mag, no recoil, good enough damage to keep it competitive in every scenario. Now, I agree, it probably needed a nerf, but I also agree that Treyarch went too far. They dramatically reduced the accuracy. They made it almost impossible to use beyond close range, and I swear they turned the damage down as well. If you boot up Black Ops 2 today, it's useless. There's literally nothing about the modern PDW that's worth taking over any other SMG in Black Ops 2. Treyarch butchered this one. They did. I know everybody forgot about the glory days. I did not. At number 2, Akimbo Snakeshots in Warzone. Now, they're still viable in standard Modern Warfare multiplayer, but they're borderline useless in Warzone, which is amazing to me because I remember when they were the only thing anybody was using. It was an ammo conversion. It turned the 357 revolver into a pocket shotgun, and when you dual-wielded it, somebody in Infinity War must have overlooked the power potential because it was off the charts. The Akimbo Snakeshots could delete people, and since they were revolvers, you could spam 12 shots before needing to reload. There have been a number of ridiculous secondaries throughout Warzone's history. But I think the Akimbo Snakeshots were the original. And I still think they received the heaviest nerf. Today, they're slow, they're weak, and they have horrible range. But back in the day, whew, you could beat somebody out before they could even process that you were shooting at them. And at number 1 today, the biggest nerf in COD history, it has to be the DMR-14 in Warzone. It has to be. Steepest fall from grace. I mentioned throughout the video, some of the Cold War weapons were busted when they were added to Warzone, not because of any bugs or glitches, just because the way they dealt too much damage. They were easy to use. The DMR-14, perhaps the biggest example of this because it made almost every gun in the game obsolete. I'm dead serious when I say the DMR was the best gun in the game and there was zero reason not to use it. Semi-auto rifle, you could kit it out for no recoil, you could kit it out for high fire rate, I mean crazy ballistics, killing 2 to 3 shots. It's crazy. The base damage of it was ridiculous, and by adding a few attachments you could break the game. It's since been nerfed into the dirt. Actually, it's been nerfed into the Earth's core. It really has. It's one of the worst guns in the game right now because of how good the automatics are. When's the last time you saw anybody use the DMR-14 in Warzone? Because I'm going to guess you haven't since before Vanguard actually came out. There you have it, my friends. Those are the biggest nerfs in COD history. Let me know where you agree. Let me know where you disagree. I'm just now thinking we didn't put the DSR on here, but it is what it is. I'll see you soon.